let's pay respect to the triple gem before we get started. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Savankanto Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅghang Namami Antamayang Buddhassa Bhagavato Buddhaphākanamakaraṃ karomase Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening wherever you are. Welcome everyone to the Dhamma subject. Today is Sunday 25th of February 2024. It's our fifth session. So today we will be moving to the Dhamma group 4. Okay, we finished Dhamma group 2 and group 3 already. And the group 4 there will be 4 lectures. Today is the first lecture. It's the lecture number 5. And let's see if you still remember something that we learned so far. Okay, there are 3 questions here. Which one is not apannaka Dhamma? If you're not familiar with the Pali, this is the translation. What kind of practice is not considered an unfailing practice? Apannaka Dhamma, right? For sure, what we learned from last week, there will be 3 items on the list. Number 1, moderation in eating, control the sense door, and practice of wakefulness. And when you study, if possible, okay, you should memorize them in order too. That's the Buddha lined them up for a reason. So 3 things for sure: moderation in eating, control the sense door, and practice of wakefulness, right? And then all of a sudden, this guy show up, keeping 5 precepts or the sila. What's wrong with sila if you observe precept? It's gonna fail you or drag you off the path of doing something bad, right? So it's unfailing practice. So sila is acceptable to be here. That leaves us one choice, which is being silent. Okay. What is this one? Which one is the meaning of anatta or not self? And the answer is B. Changing moment to moment and impermanent. A and D is what? Is anicca. We learn anicca, dukkha, and anatta, right? Anicca means it's changing moment to moment. It's continue to change constantly. It's impermanent. And unsatisfactoriness, this one is dukkha. And that leaves us anatta to uncontrollable. You have no authority to control your body, these 5 aggregates, or anything in this world. That you cannot stop them from changing. They have to continue to change. Nothing you can do about it. And the last one, which Dhamma support the practice of wakefulness. Wakefulness is opposite to laziness. What Dhamma support you not to be lazy? You have to be patient, right? If you plan to sit 1 hour, no matter what happened, you sit 1 hour. That means you have to develop patience or khanti. Not only that, you need to develop the perseverance to keep going, whether it's hot, whether it's cold. You said go to sit, then you sit. And mindfulness has to be there. Eat in moderation and all of the above. This should be the correct answer. My question to you is, why eating in moderation support wakefulness? It's the food for thought. You go back and keep coming back to this question. This is how we reflect on what we learn, and we can have our own wisdom about the Dhamma that we are studying. Okay, so for today, we will be covering these 3 main Dhamma. Is the Dhamma group 4, part 1, there will be 4 lecture on the Dhamma group 4 until the week's number 8. Today is week number 5, right? 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 4 lecture on the Dhamma group 4, and then we'll be moving on to the Dhamma group 5. Today we'll be covering the Dhamma called vuddhi. I hope you study the book, even though not much detailed explanation, but it's good to have it as a reference. The vuddhi means the virtue that conducive to growth. And the second Dhamma is the cakka. Cakka means wheeling, the 4 virtue that wheeling one to prosperity, just like the car that take you to your destination wherever you go. That's why it's called cakka. And the last one is called agati. Agati. All of these, they are in Pali. Vuddhi, cakka, and agati. Just get familiar with it. But every single Pali word that I mentioned, I will give explanation, so you don't get confused and you don't have to worry too much about it. And in this class, we come from different backgrounds. Some of you know some Pali, some of you have no idea what Pali, the language is, and some of you read sutra, some of you never read sutra. It's okay. That's why it's called elementary, right? You come here to learn. I will not test you the Pali, okay? But in the exam there will be if there is a Pali, there will be the meaning in English for you as well. But it's nice to familiar with this. It's nice to memorize what it means, because this the elementary will prepare you for the intermediate and advanced, which to me most of the time is unavoidable for Dhamma student to encounter Pali terms when you study the Buddhist text. And agati is the 4 prejudice. Okay, so the vuddhi, the cakka, and the agati. These are the 3 topics we will be covering today. And if you study this from this textbook, you may get yourself familiar with the meaning of each term, the vuddhi, the cakka, and the agati, and the item that lists in this each Dhamma as well. But today I'm going to explain to you more about what they are, how, where they come from, and how we can put them into practice. Let's start from here. As a human beings, we were born at point A, and eventually we'll get to point B, which is the last stop of life. Life will be ended physically, though, somewhere in the future. We just don't know when, we just don't know how. We have no idea, but we know for sure this will be happening. And life is very short. We can live, the human average age, it is said, is about 75. That means if a man can live up to 75 and die, that means he died normally. If he can live longer than that, he is fortunate. But if someone died before 75, and that's too soon to die. But death is coming. And as we grow up, become children, become teenager, become adult, become father, become the boss, and become the uncle, become a grandfather, and eventually we die. In this process of life, we cannot stop it. Life will go as it's supposed to go, right? The thing is, where are we going? How do we know we're heading to the right direction? So study Dhamma is crucial in life. Human being, we were born ignorant. This is a very critical word in Buddhism. One of the most important vocabulary, which is called avijja. Avijja or ignorant. We were born ignorant. And we touch on the topic of the root of unwholesome action. We talk about lobha, tosa, moha, greed, hate, and delusion. They come from avijja. If we can remove avijja from our life, and that leave us wisdom. When we have wisdom, of course, we will live life in a wholesome way. We will do things in a good, we will do good, say good, and think good. But the reason we cannot do that fully because we have ignorance in the mind. So study Dhamma is very important. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to be happy. What is the happy man in your view? What kind of person you want to be? Want to be rich? Want to have high education? Want to have good relationship? There are all kind of things, right? That we can look for it. when it comes to study Dhamma, of course, it will lead us to a happy life. Also, it will take us to the utmost wisdom, where we understand things the way they are, not just being happy. We learn how to observe precept, right? A man of precept is a good man. That's the starting point. Also, if you observe precept, you give, you study Dhamma, but you are selfish. When help is needed, you don't give, you don't help. So you're being a selfish, and that's not the idea of someone who come to study the Dhamma. At least these four areas you should reflect on yourself. So how can we gain wisdom? How can we be happy? How can we consider ourselves or develop morality? And how can we become a person who have a caring heart? These are the Dhamma that we're covering today. These four Dhamma, this Dhamma group 4, which is today we talk about the three subjects, right? The first one is called vuddhi, second one is called cakka, and the third one is called agati. These are the three groups of the Dhamma that help us to live good life, help us to develop wisdom, and help us to be a kind person. But the Buddha teach this Dhamma to different group of people, different places, different contexts, different environments. But in the Nakdhamma level, in the elementary level, the curriculum is designed just to grab the Dhamma here and there, depends on the teacher, because there are many of them fall into the category of Dhamma group 4. And these are some of the example. These three of them. There will be more later on in the later session. So vuddhi is the growth factor, the 4 growth factor. The cakka, the willing that lead us to a prosperity. The names sound similar, but they're not exactly the same. And the 4 agati, or the 4 prejudice. Okay, these 3 groups of Dhamma, 1, 2, 3, they support each other to help us to live good life, happy life, morality life, and the life with wisdom. Now your job is to connect the dot. How can you put them into practice? So we have learned this Dhamma on the first week. And the first thing that we learn is about sati and sampajanya. It's called the virtues of great assistance. Sati means mindfulness. Sampajanya means clear or full comprehension or clear awareness, right? And you hear this many, many times. The virtue of great assistance. Every time you hear the terms virtue of great assistance, usually most of the students will think of sati and sampajanya, which is correct. Nothing wrong with that. But the Buddha teach many group of Dhamma that consider a great assistance, not just one. Today you're gonna see 2 more of them. So we learned this one already, right, from the first week. The great virtue of great assistance, we learned sati and sampajanya, and today you're gonna have to connect them together. And the vuddhi Dhamma also consider a virtue of great assistance as well. But this group has 4 items on the list, which is this one. Sometimes the vuddhi Dhamma usually translate or use as the Dhamma that help you to develop wisdom or the growth of wisdom. Develop or grow. Because we were born ignorant, we don't know that we don't know. Everything that we know, we learn later as we grow up. You may be fortunate to go to good school, learn from good teacher, born in a good family, good parents. So you become a good man today, good woman today. But not many people in this world born in the same environment as you. They may born in with a difficult life, have no chance to access to good school, good teacher. So they end up having a lot of problem and suffering in life. So with ignorance in the mind, we need to, the first step, to keep in mind that and remind ourselves that, hey, everything that I learned today, everything that I know later after I was born, right? And the thing that we learn from school, most of the thing that we learn, the school teach us to the subject that help us to make a living according to what we learn. You learn engineer, you learn doctor, you learn lawyer, whatever you learn, it's perhaps you hope that by learning that subject you can get a good job, become a banker, become a computer programmer, become an architecture, whatever it is. That's what most schools teach us. But when it comes to the Dhamma, the teaching of the Buddha leads us further than that, not just make a good living. It helps us to live good life too, not only in this life, but for the future life. So wisdom in Buddhism is not just know how to fix computers, know how to cook, know how to speak French or Russian. It's not just that. So the starting point for someone to have wisdom, you need to associating with a good and wise man. This I like to mix them up and call a noble. Not just a good person, but that person need to be smart too. Sapuri Sangsewa is the term. Sapuri Sangsewa means find good teacher, just to keep it simple. You need to find good teacher. If you want to be a good engineer, you need to go find the best engineering school and find the best engineer teacher, right? Or you want to be the heart surgery doctor, you need to go find them. Which school in this world that good at heart surgery, and you go learn from those teachers. One day you become one of them, to master in heart surgery, to be engineer, to be a lawyer, whatever field that you are interested in. So you need to find them. Same thing in the Dhamma world. You need to find good teacher. You need to find good teacher because there's a lot of things that we have no idea what Dhamma is all about. It's not just, oh, I'm able to read the text, so I study by myself. Study by yourself, it's good. It's good start. Just keep yourself in that learning circle. But keep in mind that there will be a great teacher out there that know more than us. And many times we need to seek for their advice. So the first thing, if you want to be success, if you want to have wisdom, you need to find good teacher. Hang out with them. Associating mean what? Associating mean not just go see them. You welcome them into your life. Body, speech, and mind, your heart, you fully, respectfully give it to them. This is not in the condition that the environment, like you go to school, you pay for the fee, you sit in the class, and teacher give you whatever he need to teach, and then you take exam, you pass exam, and then you get good grade, hopefully to get good job. But when it's come to the Dhamma study, it's not like that. We need to develop respect to our teacher, then we can learn more. So I'll give you an example in a moment. And the second thing, after you find them, you welcome them into your life. You know that this person will wish me no harm. That's why I submit my life to you. Please be my teacher. And then Satthammasavana means you listening to the good teaching or the Dhamma. Whatever your teacher has to say, fully submit to the teaching. So that means you are okay to ask, right? You're okay to ask. When you go to school, you ask questions to your teacher if you don't understand. But most of Asian students, Thai students, usually we don't ask. We kind of shy in the class, and then we ask outside the class. But when I was joining the class with my international friend, they just keep throwing the question to the teacher. Sometimes I feel like they lack of respect. That's how I see it. But in fact, it's not like that. They really want to know what they don't understand, so they just keep throwing the question to the teacher. And later on, I start to develop that habit, just to be brave to ask the question. Okay, don't be shy. Otherwise, you wouldn't get the wisdom from your teacher. And also, it shows your interest that, hey, I am listening to you. This one I don't understand. So please tell me, am I understand it correctly? So this and that. So listen, find them, hang out with them, welcome them to your life, and find opportunity, okay, to listen, to study from them. And the third one, not just that, it's called Yoniso Manasikara. Yoniso Manasikara is another beautiful word in Buddhism. Okay, it's point to wisdom. That means you develop the critical reflection mind. You don't just blind believe, oh, this monk, this teacher is well known, just listen, just believe what he said. The Buddha never said that. He said, even though I am your teacher, don't just believe what I said. You need to think deep. You need to reflect whatever you learn critically until you have no doubt that you understand correctly. I'll give you an example in a moment. Today you learn a lot of things from the previous session. I don't know if you have time to reflect deeper than just what you learn in the class. Okay? You learn the dana, you learn the giving, right? You learn what kind of thing that should be given, what kind of thing that shouldn't be given. You hear the word dana. Dana means giving. Dana is giving. I got it. And today you'll be learning the word cakka. Cakka. Cakka also mean giving. What's the difference between cakka and dana? Now you have to think. So the teaching of the Buddha, there are layers to it. They're deep, not just give. There are something that the student need to think deep so you can put into practice correctly. So I'll come back to this in a moment. And number 4 is this one is called Dhamma Patipatti. Don't worry, the name is quite long. It means that you practice, okay, in perfect conformity to the Dhamma or the principle that you learn. I will summarize it to the picture for you. It's easy for you to follow and memorize. So you find good teacher, you listening to his teaching, you reflect on what you learn. Don't just blind believe. But whatever he said is always correct. No, that's not the case. And also, there will be whatever you learn will mean nothing if you don't put them into practice. You may get good grade in this Dhamma exam, but it doesn't mean you are a good person. It doesn't mean you are a good person. You may still breaking precept, but you just happen to be doing well in the exam, that's all. And this is a sutra that the Buddha mentioned about the vuddhi Dhamma. He said, bhikkhus, bhikkhu means monks. These four things lead to the growth of wisdom. That means, to be specific, the vuddhi Dhamma is the Dhamma that lead to wisdom, the growth of wisdom. What for? Number 1, associating with the noble persons. Number 2, listening to the true teachings. And number 3, wise reflection. It depends on the translator, which term he feel comfortable. Okay, that means you have to think deep, don't just believe. Wise reflection, deep reflections, critical reflection, whatever it is, the term that makes sense to you. And number 4 is to practice in line with the teaching. So this sutra can be found in Panya Vuddhi Sutta. And I will have the reference at the end, so you can go back and study by yourself later on. And if we put into picture, this is how you see it. The vuddhi Dhamma, the virtue that conducive to the growth of wisdom. Number 1, sapuri sangseva. You associating with the noble person, not just good. This person need to be noble, smart and good, not the same qualities. Some people very smart, but they're not good, right? So you need to develop the good eyes to look for this kind of person around you, good and smart. And second one, when you found them, okay, satthamma savana, you respectfully listen to the teaching. You cannot learn anything from your teacher and hope the teacher to give everything that he knows to you without you develop the respect manner. Without respect, the teacher wouldn't fully or kindly teach you everything that he learned. If you are always late to the class, the teacher may prepare 100% for his teaching. If students are late, so he may teach like 70%, right? So you lost 30% of something that he about to share with you. He changed his mind because your behavior, you don't show respect. You always came to the class late. This happened to me as well, when I learned the English class with my professor from Cambridge. The ladies always come to the class 5 minutes, always, never late. So she will give 5 minutes. If the class starts at 8 o'clock, she will come 7:55. And when she enters the room, she will look at the clock and she give 5 minutes. And when 8:05, she lock the door. She doesn't care. She doesn't care whatever reason that you're late for the class. She just locked the door. And then she start teaching. That's how she treat her student. So I missed her class on the first day and I never missed again. So I have to show up before she came. That's how she trained her student. That's how she demand respect, by showing up on time. And then when you learn Yoniso Manasikara, right, you develop wisdom. You reflect of what you learn. For the advanced student, if you think you know Dhamma, you may familiar with Yoniso Manasikara, which always translates to wisdom in Buddhism. My question to you is, what's the difference between Yoniso Manasikara and the Sampachanya? Sampachanya also wisdom, right? This one. This also wisdom. Are they the same or are they different? Now it's your job to think, to critical reflect of what you learn. Are they the same or are they different, right? And then number 4, you put everything you learn to practice. Okay, it's called Dhamma, Dhamma Patipatti. Patipatti means practice. You put into practice, then it will become your wisdom. You will understand the Dhamma that you practice. So let's take a look at the example. This is one of my favorite example. When talking about Sariputta, or before his ordination, his name was Upatissa. And Venerable Mokkhalana, before ordination, his name was Kolita. These two gentlemen, they are good friends. And they born in a rich family. But impressively, born in that good condition, they don't just entertaining themselves, let the day goes by. They look for the meaning of life. They look for teacher. They keep looking for teacher. The meaning of life, the purpose of life, why am I here? Where am I going after I die? What is liberation? Can the mind be liberated? What is the real meaning of life? They just keep asking questions and wandering from place to place throughout India to find good teacher. You see, associating, how can you associate with them if you cannot find them? You need to make an effort to go find good teacher wherever they are. Doesn't matter how far or near. If you know that the good monks or the good teacher over there, you're just gonna have to make an effort to go find them. And that's what happened. Surprisingly, there were many people like this. We call them parashika. There were many parashika, male and female. They just walk throughout India for one reason, to go find teacher and teach me something. Go to this village, learn from this teacher, and share the knowledge that they learned from the previous village to this villager. And then move to the next town and look for another teacher. So they're accumulating wisdom, what they learn. And then they share wherever they go. So this happened to these two gentlemen. They also work following the same path to look for the meaning of life, something that's bothering them. To keep the story short, they found the teacher, which the real teacher, and that teacher of Sariputta is Venerable Asachi. So Sariputta one day found the Venerable Asachi walk arms round, and he looked at the monk and said, "Wow, this monk looks special. This monk is somebody. The way he walk, his manner, the way he dress, the way he keep blessing, the way he eat breakfast." So he keep following him, secretly, and wait until the right moment to ask question. Wait until Venerable Asachi finish his meal, and then when the timing is right, he just humbly approach the monk and ask the question. Could you give me some Dhamma talk? Could you teach me something? And Venerable Asachi is one of the 5 ascetics that listen to the first teaching of the Dhamma in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, right? He's one of them. He achieved arahants. That means he has a lot of wisdom. He was able to remove hindrances, all the defilements from his mind. And he kind of shy. He said, "I'm a new monk. I don't have much to teach." And Sariputta insists, "Please teach me something. Whether short or long, whether difficult or not, is my problem. Your job is just please share with me something. I humbly, beg you to share with me something, whatever you learn from your teacher." And this is what Venerable Asachi gave the teaching to Sariputta. He said, "Of causally arising things, the Buddha has declared their cause as well as their ending. This is the teaching of the great ascetic." Again, great ascetic point to the Buddha. This is what the Buddha teach in one sentence. After reflect on this one sentence, Sariputta achieved the stream entry, become Sodapatana person. He was able to remove a certain defilements from his mind completely. He become the stream entry. If we just listen and don't reflect, we will learn nothing much. Oh, it makes sense, sounds good. And so what? Then what? But for Sariputta, he think deep. He understand after listening to this sentence, oh, this is the Buddha talk about. This is the main teaching of the Buddha. It's about cause and effect. If this arrive, that arrives. If this cease, that cease, right? This is the idea of paticca samuppabbada or the dependent origination. And this goes from here. But for us, we may not reflect that much. That's why whatever we learn, it seems sounds good, it's nice, it makes sense, and then move on to the next one. So you need to master all of this. Continue to look for good teaching. Can be a person, can be a books, okay? And respectfully have disciplines to welcome that teaching into your life. Not only welcome the person, welcome the teaching into your life. You need to wholeheartedly listen. Open up your heart, open up your eye, your ear, respectfully to study the teaching. And then make sure you reflect on it. You learn many Buddha words from Prajan Waravut. Do you see how they connected? Have you had a chance to just stop a little bit and reflect? How can I put them into practice? I have been learning 5 weeks already. So many Buddha words or Buddha Vajana that you have been learning. If you don't practice any of them, you're going to waste your time, right? Because you just memorize and try to pass the exam. The idea of study Dhamma is not just that. And then, important one, it means nothing of the Dhamma that you learn if you don't practice. And not just practice, you need to practice correctly. As a monk, we have the daily chore that we follow. We have the schedule that we follow. There's a reason behind that, why we have to wake up before 5 o'clock, why morning chanting, why doing arms round, why eating breakfast like this, why dress like this, why walk like this. There's a meaning, a reason behind. You may not know all of them, but in the training, that's how the curriculum designed to train the new monks to be disciplined, to welcome the teaching into your life first by being obedient to the structure, to the teacher, to the training, and then you go from there. That's the vuddhi Dhamma. And now we move on to the second one. This one is called cakka Dhamma. Cakka, again, cakka means wheel, right? When you think of wheel, you think of the vehicle, the transportation that take you from one place to another place, to your destination, wherever you want to go. So the idea of the cakka is this Dhamma that when someone put them into practice, is kind of preparing you, okay, to the destination safely, safe and sound. It's called the virtue wheeling ones to the prosperities. And that is something that related to what we learn, what I asked you at the beginning. We learn the Dhamma, the virtue of great assistance. And we know that I mentioned about sati and sampajanya, mindfulness and the clear comprehension. And this also consider the Dhamma or the virtue of great assistance. When one develops 4 of this, you will be on your way to be success and to be happy. They're wheeling you to prosperities. And it appears in the Cakka Sutta from Anguttara Nikaya. When a person leaves a suitable regions, making friends with noble ones, you see, similar, right? Possessing the right resolve, and having merit from the past, then gain riches, fame, reputation, happiness come to that person. These are the 4 things. The first is called patirupatesa. Patirupatesa means your environment, okay, living in a suitable place, a good environment. Because in the Cakka Dhamma, these 4 virtue or 4 Dhamma, they support you to do good. Support you. If you are a good person, they will support you to be a better person. That's the idea. If your life still suffering with a lot of problem here and there, okay, if you start put them into practice, then it start to roll your life into the good way, into the wholesome way, to be the path of happiness. So start from the first one. It's called patirupate sawasa. That means you create your living environments to be a good environment. Okay, I will go in detail of each one of these in a moment. So let's just go through this quickly. And second one is called sapuri supasaya. sounds similar to the one that we just mentioned, right? Associating with a noble friends. Sapuri supasaya, you associating with a noble friends. The first one we talk about, go find, right? You go find good friend, good teacher. This also similar idea. You hang out with good friend, noble friends. And then the third one is called atta samma paniti, possessing the right resolve. Okay, what does it mean? In a moment, we'll get to that. And the last one is called buppekata punyata. Buppekata punyata, having merit from the past, having done good deeds from the past. We learned concept of merit already. Hope you still remember. Hope you still have some idea what it means and why it's so important. Start from the first one, Patirupate Sawasa. The idea of Patirupate Sawasa is not just living in a suitable place. Okay? It's about your, I would say, your living environment. If you think of yourself, you live in a good place, right? Your house, your town, your city, your community, your country. Some people may live in a developed country with all kind of advanced technology, but at the same time, the crime rate is high, suicide rate is high, depression, stress also high. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. Is this a good place for me to live in this kind of environments? But again, it's not practical just to move out of the country, right? Or just sell the house and buy the new one, go live another place. That may sound, extreme, and it's not so practical to do that. The idea of this particular Dhamma, Patirupate Sawasa, is if you can choose, then you choose. If you can, then you can choose, right? If you can afford that, then you do it. But if you cannot, there are ways to deal with this. Why don't you start from your house? This is the place that you live on a daily basis. How much time we spend on the bedroom is a 1/3 of life, right? We work 8 hours, sleep 8 hours, we do things here and there another 8 hours. So we spend, if we live up to 75 years, that means we spend 25 years in the bedroom. We spend another 25 years at the workplace. We spend another 25 years here and there. So your living condition had huge impact into your emotion, your feeling, your creativities. If your room is unclean, unorganized, it's gonna affect your day. So start from here. Just this one, something that you can do. If you are parents, you have children, if you want to raise them to be a good person, you do your best to find them the good school, feed them with good food, take them to the nice vacation. But when you look at your bedroom, at their bedroom, if the bedroom still unclean and unorganized, this quite risky. You don't help them to develop good habits, to be mindful, to be consuming things mindfully, to keep things clean and organized. And whatever we see here, it affects the mind. It's the manifestation of the mind, right? If the mind is clean, calm, and relaxed, usually, the room, the bathroom, the bedroom, usually always clean and organized as well. So something that you can check. And I don't know if this happened to you or not. If my room is unorganized for some reason, that day I cannot meditate well. I usually clean the room first, put things back to where it's supposed to be, and then get back to my seat and sit. Otherwise, no matter how hard I try, the mind is still wandering here and there. It doesn't feel clean from inside. So patirupate sawasa mean if you can, okay, you think of the work, the school, the social, the community that you stay, people around you, okay, they all affect your life. If you want to do good, you want to be good, right? You need to live in a good place. You come home, your house is clean and organized, you feel good. You want to relax, you want to meditate. You can do whatever it is because the house is ready, the room is ready, your office table is ready to do the work. So you go from here. And this is the idea of Patirupate Sawasa. Patirupate mean your environments that need to be in a suitable condition for you to grow your virtue, for you to grow your Dhamma. Right? How can you meditate in a messy room? How can you work hard or work well in the office that very unorganized? Everything is everywhere. You don't even know where your pens are, where your printer are. Everything is just very unorganized, right? And that's the idea of the patirupatesawasa, living in the good condition. It's not just you have a beautiful home in a beautiful city. It's more than that. And the second one is associating with a noble friends. This is similar of what we just learned from the vuddhi Dhamma. Find good teacher and learn from them, right? And now it's your job to make sure that not only you find them, you welcome them into your life, you associating with them, okay, fully. Sapuri supasaya. You associating with the noble friends because it is at the books that you read, the friends that you hang out with, from today on until the next 5 years, 3 years, 5 years. Whoever you hang out with, you will become one of them. They have a huge impact into your life. If you hang out with people who love to study Dhamma, they will invite you or drag you to the path of Dhamma study, to meditate, to make merit, to offer, to donate. But if you like to hang out with opposite friends, the friend who love to do this, you will become one of them. This is the warning from the Buddha. This is the road to destruction. Friend who love to drinking alcohol a lot, partying a lot, watching the show, gambling, bad companionships, laziness, this kind of thing that the Buddha give the warning to the layman Singhalaka, that how to live good life as a lay person. It may be, for some people, it may be difficult to differentiate which friends are considered good friends, which friends are considered bad friends, right? At least you go from here. That person, do they observe precept or not? Whatever they invite you to do, is it wholesome or unwholesome? Okay, use your best judgment. You don't have to be blind to be a friend of the blind men, right? If you walk to the village and everyone in the village are blind, you want to become friend of them. You don't have to remove your eye and, hey, let me be your friends. That's not smart way to be a good friend with those people. So if your friends are blind with their ignorance, your job is to educate them, bring them back. If you love them, you care them, then you bring them back to the path of wholesomeness. And the third one is possessing the right resolve. This is kind of nice. Atta samma panithi. Atta means self. Samma means good, right? That means you make sure that you setting yourself in the right course or the right path. There are many ways to make good money, right? You can study hard in school, do your best, hope to get a good job, take care of your family, or you can do something else. You can make quick money. There are many ways to make money. It seems like not many people are aware of these ethical things. They just want a shortcut, want to get rich fast, want to become successful fast, and neglect the ethical area of life, and usually end up problem and suffering. If you setting yourself in the right course or the right path, okay, happiness and success will follow. But if you set yourself into the wrong path or the wrong course, okay, problem, dukkha will follow. That's very clear. That's very clear, and that's very makes sense. And this is about having the right view, right? The way people see things this way, choice A or choice B, is because their view is different. Their view is different. Let's do this because I think it's good. Let's not do this because I think it's bad. This depends on the view of the person. So you can ask yourself, wherever you go, do people welcome you? Do they like you? Do they love to have you around? And when you leave, do they feel sad? They feel disappointed? Or they feel opposite? Some people, when they come to our life, they make us feel uncomfortable. And when they leave, we also feel relieved. So which kind of person are you? That's called atta samma panithi. Make sure wherever you go, you don't create problem. You make yourself likable. You make yourself useful. Whether you are a monk or a lay person, whether you are a boss or employee, you need to have some criteria to check yourself. In another teaching, which the Buddha go further than this, is called Pahukaraka Dhamma. There are 7 things that consider the great virtue of existence. When a person, whether a man or a woman, develop this 7 kind of wealth, sometimes we call a noble wealth, they said to be prosperous. Their life is not in vain. So this something I just share with you because when I prepare the lecture, I came across this teaching. Just want to put them together, so you can start to see how deep of the Dhamma and how they related to each other, and perhaps you can start putting them into practice. There are 7 things on the list. That means you setting yourself. Setting yourself into these 7 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Start from faith or sattha. Faith mean what? Faith mean believe with wisdom, right? Back up with wisdom. I believe the teaching of the Buddha is good. So at least put some initial faith toward your teacher and prove it yourself until it becomes your wisdom. And then observing precept. If a man have no precept, make sure that that person or that man observe precept first. Otherwise, his life will go nowhere. And because of faith, we go to the teaching of the Buddha. We seek for his advice, and then the Buddha suggests us to observe precept. Then we start observe precept, and then later on, you and precept become one, right? You will have hiri ottappa, which again we learn from the first week. Develop the sense of shame, the moral fear of doing bad thing, whether someone see it or not. In the public or in private, we will not break precept. We will not do anything bad. This is the virtue that we should setting ourselves into it. We should develop it. We should sustain it. And number 5 is called sutta or learning. Now you are learning. You will develop sutta. There will be no end to it of learning Dhamma. And the cakka, this one that I mentioned, generosity. What's the difference between cakka and the dana? Now it's time for you to reflect deep, right? Dana is give. You have money, you give. You have food, you give. You have clothes, you give. That's 11 items on the list that you can give. And now we're talking about generosity, the cakka, why the Buddha put it here. You should setting yourself into the life of give, love to give, 5 times to give, 5 ways to give. But this time it's not just give the material things. The cakka come in the sense of, come in the much deeper sense than the word dana. Sometimes we give something to someone, we expect something in return, like the reflect of Yang just mentioned. That's in the business world is a give and take, right? Oh, I want to donate 1 million, but I want my name on that buildings. Or if a person said, if you donate 5,000 baht for this building, you get this amulet. But if you donate 10,000 baht, you get another amulet which is bigger. So now the idea of giving, I give because I want that amulet. You see the idea? So the cakka come in the deeper sense that you let go the greed in your mind. I don't need my name. I don't care. Give is give. I know the benefit of my giving. I'm done with it. I'm happy of my giving. You let go that greed. You let go craving for fame. You let go craving for credibility. You let go craving for recognition. You just want to lessen your defilement. Okay, lobha, dosa, moha. And you also cakka also include you forgive someone. Let go the bad emotion. Let go resentment towards someone, which is difficult to give, right? That's the idea of cakka. Cakka is more pure toward the Dhamma, not the material things. And now you setting yourself into the wisdom. Wisdom in Buddhism again is come in the deep, right? In the deep meaning, wisdom is not just know how to cook, how to drive a car. And now it's about knowing your life, who you are, why you here, where you going. What's the meaning of 5 aggregates? What's the meaning of karma? What's the meaning of life after death? What's the meaning of nibbana? These are the things that you still don't know. So your job is to know. who you really are. That's the Dhamma. That's the wisdom. So if you don't have any of this, make sure you develop them one by one. And that is also called another virtue of great assistant in the 7 item, in the group of 7. Okay, so we learn sati and sampachanya, the 2 great virtue of assistance. And now we learn the cakka, the 4 wheeling, okay, the 4 virtue that wheeling us to have a prosperity life. And now we come to the 7th item, with another group of virtue of great assistance, which is called pahukarakatham. Okay, today is maybe a little bit further than just what you're supposed to learn in this particular session about the idea of cakka, but I just add on to you, so you, if in case we don't have a chance to talk about this again, so you know how to link them together. And now we come to the next one before we finish the cakka. The Buddha teach us that there is something called the law of karma, which is we learn already. This lifetime is not the lifetime that we were born, and it's not the last lifetime either. We're gonna have to keep born and reborn, and every lifetime that we born, we do things, we say things, we think of things, good and bad, wholesome and unwholesome, and whatever we done, is everything is kept in the mind. That's why there is the karma that caused by the defilement, and then it's become the vipaka, or the fruit, or the result of our action. Whatever we do, if we do good, we get good. If we do bad, we get bad. And that is why in this particular teaching, in the last item on the cakka, the Buddha talk about having merit from the past. If we don't believe in the law of karma, this teaching will make no sense. If we were born one life and we die, just like the tree, and there's no point for us to worry about merit and demerit, because there will be no heaven and no hell, no nothing, right? But the Buddha teach us that there is a law of karma. If we do good, we get good. If we do bad, we get bad. And there is life after that too. It's not about you believe it or not. It's about you to take this teaching into your deep consideration and prove it yourself. So buppekata punyata mean having merit from the past. Why people born different? Someone born rich, successful, handsome, healthy, wealthy, perfect life. How come someone born different? Don't have anything. There's no place to live, no food to eat. Just live life day by day and wait to die. Life is not fair. That's what people complain. Life is unfair. Why I born like this? Just keep on complaining. And this is what the reflection from Bill Gates. He said, if you are born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, this is definitely your mistake. You don't just sit there and complain your parents that, oh, why you don't, why you are poor, why you don't become a rich person just like the father of my friends. We can't do that. It's not your mistake to born like that, but it's your mistake to die poor. That means you don't make an effort to develop yourself, to prove yourself. So it's okay to born poor, but it's not okay to die poor. That's how, I learned from my teacher in the MBA school as well, which is quite nice, interesting, and somehow I still remember this phrase vividly, for some reason. So everything that happened to us in this life, not only because of the past karma only. Don't blame your past karma, but it's also this present karma. You have choice. You can select to do good and to do bad. You can select to go to school and study hard, get good job, or you can choose to be a robber, to be a thief, to get rich quick. Choice is up to you. It's up to you. Someone born perfect, handsome, rich, smart, but in this life, with that thing that with that living condition, with that lifestyle that he has, he used it for something else. It's gambling, drug, being a gangster, womanizing, this and that. So that means the good karma that he has created in the past that brought him here in this life with everything that he has, he did not secure his good future because he lack of wisdom. That means the karma that he created this life with that good living condition will take him down to the unwholesome path later on. So there's nothing get lost in this cycle of samsara or this cycle of existence. So just keep in mind and then continue to have faith and get going that you can become better, you can be success. The past, whatever happened, we cannot go back and change. But today you have choice. You can make good choice or you can make bad choice. You can go sit meditate or you can go sit and watch movie. Up to you. You can make effort to make donation or you can become a selfish person. I don't help. I just want to keep my money in the bank. So again, choice is up to you, right? A friend of mine born in a lower class family, but he's smart. He always get the scholarship, get good grade, go to good school, and he finished his PhD all the way through with scholarship. But the family were very poor, so he realized that the reason I born poor because I did not give, and he also noticed that he always have stingy mind. When someone asks for donation, he always run away from them. So when he come to the Dhamma, he realized, oh, this is why the Buddha teach us to give, because not just you don't want to be born smart at the same time poor. Why don't you born healthy, physically healthy and wealthy with a lot of money, with a good living condition, with good brain, right? With intelligence. Then you can use all of this to better yourself and to better the world around you. And now his mindset changed after he come to the Dhamma. With that intelligence and the factor that he has, now he love to give, now he love to meditate. This is the idea of the Buppekata Punyata. Okay, whatever happened in the past, whatever family you born, whatever country you born, it's okay. Nothing much you can do, but now you can choose, okay, to live life according to the teaching of the Buddha. If our goal is to reach Nibbana one day, okay, you need to walk down this path. So you need to, every day you commit karma, good and bad. Make sure you secure your future by start to give, okay, the dana, giving, observing precept, and practice meditation. And back to the teaching in the Ovata Patimokkha that mentioned in the Makha Busha Day, right? Buddha said, stop, do all the evil things, embrace to do good, and purify one's mind. It's a beautiful summary of his teaching. If you remember nothing, just take these three things with you. Stop doing bad thing, small or big. Continue to do good thing, find opportunity to do good thing, and then don't stop practice meditation. And there's a reason for that. All right. Now we come to the last topic today, which is called agati. Agati is a good teaching because the Buddha give us like the guideline, the 4 guideline to determine whether our action is skillful or not. How do you know that your action is considered good and bad, right? It's called agati, the 4 agati. What is agati? Agati mean what? There's 2 words here. Mean the wrong, incorrect, not suitable. Agati mean way, approach, or path. Sometimes it's good to know the root meaning of the vocabulary. It's help us to understand. It's much better. So the agati mean the Dhamma that help us to design, to determine which action is good, which action is bad. Especially if you are the boss or if you are the parents, right? How come your children, your son may feel like you don't love him as the same as his sister? What make him think like that? Maybe the way you treat your children not equal for some reason. And this is the idea of agati. You may love the daughter more than the son. So you treat the daughter better than the son. So the son feel like, oh, it's unfair. Father, mother, they don't love me. That's the idea of agati. If you're the boss, okay, why you promote this employee instead of another employee? There must be a reason. How come you promote this guy, not that guy? Even though the second guy is more qualified than the first guy to be promoted. It's called agati. Because we are ignorant being. Ignorant being always make decision based on ignorance, right? What we like, we go after. We don't like, we run away or we fight for it. The agati usually translate to prejudice, or these are the terms used in the text, the prejudice, the preconceived idea, or the bias. In this particular sutra, the Buddha said, Bhikkhu or monks, there are 4 ways of taking a wrong course or the wrong path. What 4? One takes wrong course because of desire or shanta, because of hatred or dosa, because of delusion or moha, and because of fear or paya. Paya means fear. Okay, this just for your reference. The Buddha actually mentioned this in this particular sutra, Patamaka, Patamakati Sutta. And if we put them into picture, this is maybe easier to see. The four prejudice or the four agati. It's like you make decision with the blind eye. Okay, there are four influence. The first one, it influenced by greed. That's why it's called shanta khati. Shanta khati. Shanta mean what? Shanta is greed plus agati. When you make decision based on greed or mixed by greed, your decision usually wrong. When you make decision caused by hatred, that means you mix dosa or anger with your decision. You cannot make decision clear because the mind is not in a calm state, right? It's like the hot water. You cannot see it through. So most likely you make a wrong decision that you will come back and regret later. And the third one is called moha khati, the decision that made by mixed by delusion. That means you don't have enough information. You being foolish in making that kind of decision. And the last one is called paya khati, the decision or the action that made by fear. Made by fear. If you student may fear of failing the exam, he will look bad. So he just cheat on the exam, whatever it takes. I just want to pass, so I don't look bad. So he fear of failing the exam. The business owner may fear of losing his business during the time of the COVID-19. So he may cheat on the customer, so he can make profits. So this kind of decision is based on fear, based on moha or delusion. If this is a cause of that decision, of that action, you will end up suffering. Definitely. The wrong action done under the influence of greed or desire, hate or anger, or the moha, dosa and delusion or moha, and its opposite, right action. This is called agati or the four prejudice. So the Buddha summarized here: whoever through desire, hate, and fear or ignorance should transgress the Dhamma, all his glory fade away like the moon during the waning fortnight. Oppositely, whoever through desire, hate, and fear or ignorance never transgresses the Dhamma, all his glory ever increase like the moon during the waxing fortnight. Your credibilities will fade away if you making decision involved with this greed, hatred, delusion. I promote this guy because he is my brother. Even though your brother may be not qualifying, you just promote because you like him, because he's your brother. You have bias when making decision to promote someone. And same thing, the teacher, may give a good grade to his favorite student. This decision based on greed, based on hate, based on ignorance, the result is not good, end up suffering. Teacher may give a bad grade who give to the student he doesn't like him for some reason, right? So this is bias. This is not good. The Buddha remind us to be careful of dealing with this when it's come to making decision. So one who is free from evil impulse is no longer liable to take wrong path of greed, hatred, and delusion. Simple, but deep, and not easy to practice. No matter how hard it is, you need to practice anyway if you want to be happy, right? Okay, so in short, this is what we have learned today. We learned the Dhamma Group 4, Part 1. There are 3 groups. The first group is called vuddhi Dhamma, the Dhamma that lead to the growth of wisdom. First, you need to find good teacher. Second, you need to respectfully listen to the teaching. Welcome the teacher to your life, respectfully listen to his teaching and reflect on what you learn. Don't just learn and blind believe. And most importantly, practice, observe, adjust, and go back and practice, observe, adjust. And the second group, we learn cakka, the virtue that willing us to prosperities, associating with good people, smart people, wise people, living in a suitable place. Make sure that you live in a good environment. Okay, start from your bedroom, your house first, and go from there to your office, to your communities, okay, and to the world at large. Because your environment affects the way you live your life. If you want to have a good life, you need to start from having a good environment, good living environments, and then setting in the right course, right? Know what is right, what is wrong, faith, precept, all the way to wisdom. Having done the good deed in the past, okay, this is, we don't know, right? How much good deed we done in the past. You can look at yourself, your health, your financial, your education. These are the three criteria. If you have good health, that means you observe precept quite well in the past. If you born wealthy, that means you give. You are a man of giving. That's why you attract wealth. You attract yourself to the wealthy family. And if you born with intelligence, that means you perhaps in the past life you meditate a lot. This is just a rough idea to check, the how what make you come this far in your life. And the last group we learn akati, the four prejudice, right? There are four ways that we can that cause us making the wrong decision, make decision that caused by love. I love him, I give him, I promote him. Okay, by hate, I don't like him, so I demote him. Delusion, you don't have enough information, you just make decision like that, and then it doesn't do any good to anybody. And then this caused by fear. Okay, make decision by fears as well. So these are the three groups of the Dhamma group 4 that we learned today, and all of them, they help us to live good life, happy life. Okay. So make sure you go back, relearn, reflect, and again, most importantly, put them into practice. And these are the reference if you like to study by yourself. There are 4 sutras that I recommend here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can just Google the name in the Google, then you find it. Or you may check out this website, the Sutra Central. And this another beautiful sutra that the Buddha teach a layman Singhalaka of how to live good life as a lay person. Beautiful teaching. If you are a lay Buddhist, or if you want to live good life as a lay person, this is a must study sutra. A must study sutra. Okay, check them out on your own pace. So go back and just to relearn what you learned. Today you learned a lot already from the first session, and now you come to the second session, which quite heavy with all kind of new information to you. But don't worry about it. So you already have the 5 that I sent, and then you can study on your own. And this video will be uploaded very soon. Okay, maybe on Monday. Okay, with that, I'm okay for today. If you have any question, suggestion, comments, feel free to let me know. Please have nice Sunday evening. See everyone again next week.